Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dark Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the challenges and the stage 5 stage 5 of the Giant Cataclysmic Clash event. Now these ones are, like I said in the previous video, they're challenging, but they're not super duper challenging. They're difficult, but they're more gimmicky. They have certain phases that feel impossible, and then you figure out the strategy or you have the right unit, and then it feels very easy. And because of that, it can be very annoying. It's one of those events where, for example, like the mission in this event, use or collect 40 strength orbs. Now this is very difficult, and then you remember that baby exists, and it's not so difficult. Then you have the one where it's like, finish it with Corroded Body and Mind. Okay, no problem. Then all of a sudden Corroded Body and Mind is a bit of an issue. So it's just a very interesting, albeit challenging event. And I think it's, just one of those ones that can be or can't be difficult depending on who you have. Like stage 6, for example, is very hard, and then you have Strength Broly and it's not hard. So it's just one of those things. So let's take a look at stage 5. Stage 5 has 3 phases. First phase against Goku SS3, then Goku SS3 Golden Ape, and then Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So Goku SS3, 300 mil health, 1.2 mil attack, normal, and 3.3 mil super. He deals 50% of your HP as damage every single turn, very annoying. And he nullifies super attack ceiling effects, grants immunity to being stunned. Now you can use the giant forms in a different strategy, but for this one, specifically these missions we're tackling with this team, we're taking on the Corroded Body and Mind mission, and we're taking on the 40 Strength Orbs mission, and we're going to complete those. So you need to do the Corroded Body and Mind, you need to do the Strength Orbs. Now, if you want to just do the Corroded Body and Mind mission, then this team will do just fine. You can also use the Strength LR Baby with this team. It just will be a little bit longer, a little bit more difficult, but you will still be able to get it done. And the thing that will happen here, basically, to cut a long story short, is if you use a Whis, you'll use a Whis at the second phase against Giant Ape Goku, and then you'll use a Whis at the beginning of stage 4 against Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That kind of covers you for those phases. If you are not using a Whis, which you don't have to if you get the right rotations and setups and a little bit of luck, then you use a Lemo, and that will help you create strength orbs, which you can then use alongside your strength clone Rose, who makes strength orbs, to hopefully complete the 40 orb challenge. That's my best answer, at least. It's what worked for me. Now in terms of the phases, let's get back to it. So Super Saiyan 3 Giant Ape Golden doesn't share health with the first phase. Automatically, after 2 turns past, you'll face him. He has 300 mil HP, and then a 5.25 mil super. He has minus defense of 4% with each attack received. This can take a long time to get him down, so it's best you bring criticals because that will help you ignore the defense. And he performs a guaranteed crit when launching a super. This is your biggest problem because outside Rose, other units can't actually tank the super, and even Rose will take a fair chunk of damage. So the Whis helps a lot with this. Like the Whis helps a lot from a defensive standpoint. Now if you get lucky and then you get super post super attacks, then Strength Rose can tank it, and then things are a lot easier. The unit doesn't have a lot of health, so getting a couple crits and the Goku Blacks can do some decent damage does help, and you do have one really good tank option in the form of the AGL clone, who's like an evasion guard. So this is not impossible to do without an item. For my strength orb challenge, I actually had to do this without an item and then use Lemo, but I'd probably suggest using a different team to complete that, just because I think it would be a lot easier that way. Then next, obviously after the SS3 Golden Ape, we move on to SS4 Goku, and he has 400 mil HP. He hits a little bit less in terms of super, which is nice. He still crits and everything, but he's a little bit more manageable. A little bit lower defense, a little bit higher normals, but that's not a train smash. Here we'll use actives. Here we also have type advantage against his normals. And then from there, basically, we should be able to wrap things up with the actives. Again, if you're using a Whis, because you're confident, you'll use one at the start of this, should be able to get him down. If you are using a Lemo, then you're going to rely on a bit of luck. Again, AGL Rosé, post super will be fine. And the strength Rosé post super will be fine. And then AGL Rosé will be fine as an evasion tank. Everyone else should be okay, but you do need to make sure that you get a physical type orb with the physical Goku Rosé, so that he's able to tank normals. The rest of the Rosés work fine, and this team is great, and it gets the job done. Generally, I did both challenges, both teams. So I did the Strength Orb challenge with both, but with the Rose team, you need to basically not use a Whis, because you have to use the Lemo team. Although it's a lot easier to get the Strength Orbs, it's a lot harder to actually finish the event. So you'll get the Strength Orbs, but then finishing the event requires a bit of RNG, because like I said, Rose can't take a super before he supers. Next, we'll be talking about the no item mission. So this one is a little bit different. So the biggest struggle you'll have is probably phase 1. I would say phase 1 and then early phase 2 with no item mission, because of two reasons. So firstly, the big issue is in phase 1, you take half your health each turn. So A, recovering that, very difficult. And B, stopping that, not possible. So using your giant forms helps here. I used the damage to take my giant forms, to use them, get SS4 Goku nice and early, and essentially maintain my turn 1 advantages. So I reset until I had AGL Gogeta, the SS4s, and a SS3 Goku in one turn. And then that makes your opening really, really good, because you can just keep using your giant forms to basically reopen up and stay at turn 1 almost the whole time. So that's always very, very helpful, and really, really, really useful. And then obviously you take on the Giant Ape. So we take on Giant Ape Goku. Now Giant Ape Goku, the irritating thing here is his critting. So there's a lot of units that struggle with that. Obviously AGL Gogeta will tank fine. That's the one nice thing about him. The SS4 Duo will actually tank fine once they transform. That's also a big benefit of everything. And then of course we have the 2-turn boost from SS4 Goku full power, which should help us out. So generally the rotations I ran was pretty much AGL Gogeta SS4 with physical SS4 duos, then Tech Vegeta with AGL SS4 full power, or Int SS4 if I just couldn't set up the rotations, and then floating everyone else. The Gokus do a great job boosting everyone, and they can handle the second phase normals really, really well. Then the final phase against Goku, we just pumped out everything we had. Active skills, transformations, etc. Everything went fine. This team is a lot easier to use a Lemo, because it does it no item. So using a Lemo to create orbs, pretty easy. The issue you have afterwards is obviously trying to still get orbs, because even a Lemo, like, it'll help you get orbs, but there are times where it will change a lot of orbs. So yeah, it just really comes down, unfortunately for the orb challenge, if you don't have baby, to using some of these stranger methods, to incorporating some of these weirder items, and just essentially hoping for a bit of RNG. Also, obviously, standard practice, make sure you're picking up strength orbs every single turn. Make sure you're picking up what you can. Don't prioritize other orbs, or prioritize other orbs to set yourself up for a good Lemo to kick in. The reason I use a Lemo instead of using like an Oolong or something like that is just basically because you can only use one. So like an Oolong is great if you can get a setup for a whole bunch of other orbs, and then you can kind of use it to systematically create a whole bunch of orbs. When you've only got one item, the Lemo is a bit more of an RNG card, but it does kind of work, because it's like, oh, I'm going to use this. Now you may randomly change all your physical type orbs into orbs, and what's cool is you can reset the turn. So if you do notice that there's a turn and you have like a whole bunch of AGL orbs and you got all those orbs done, then okay, cool, awesome. Now you can just constantly reset. So it is cool, it does work, it is worth it. But yeah, ultimately that is pretty much it. So let me know if you have any other questions or queries, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.